Well, you see, when you get money, don't rush into getting the comfort and the securities, okay? This is what you're not supposed to do, by the way, because if you do this, you not only squander that ability that you've just acquired that can help you to make more, but you're also getting yourself into a liability that needs a continuous sustainability, which means money. What do I mean by this point? See, most of the people, by the way, if you were to take 100% of people, all right, in the entire world, you find over 85% of people or individuals that you have on earth, they usually rush to get what we call the security and comfort. And by the way, if I was to sort of scrutinize this time, what do I mean by security? What is security? Security is where the situation where people tell you, hey, you know what? I want to get myself a home, I want to get myself a home because I want to run away from what we call the rent and what have you. I want to get myself an insurance. I want to get myself, because hey, when you ask them, what about the insurance? It's about education insurance. It's about me having a home so that at least, you get all the thing. And when we talk about the comfort is when they tell you, hey, guess what? You see, I was never brought up with these things, so I'm looking forward to enjoying myself. Life is short. Life is for the living. You only live once. All those terms, to justify them making this decision. That's why they take a car or buy a car, and I did not say, don't crucify me on the comment section. I did not say that car is bad. But now you're buying a car on the basis of, hey, guess what? Why not? I just have that car so that I can buy a car. I have like 1.2 million. I have 3 million. Why don't I grab that car? But you're just buying a car on the purposes of what? To ease your movement from point A to point B. But that ease of movement of point A to point B is not justified from the monetary aspect. What do I mean? Like, okay, fine. If I ease my movement from point A to point B, with that regard, what have I saved? What have I secured myself on? What is the importance of that? That using me 10 minutes to get from point A to point B rather than using 1 hour if I use public means, then within that 40 minutes of mine, then what have I used? What have I increased in terms of the income and what have you? Okay, now the point is this. That's one thing, comfort. The other thing, you find that people also want to live good. You live good. You see people buying recliners, you see people buying big televisions, you see people buying big sort of houses or what have you, because you just want to have the comfort and the security. And guess what? This is what people, or majority of the people, usually do immediately after they get money. Guess what? See, if you can find somebody who has never been accessed like sort of 2 million or 3 million or 4 million or 2 or 1 or 5 or half a million, okay? The first thing that guy thinks is about, hey, let me just grab myself a plot of land somewhere. And then they go buy that a plot of land in a very wild place. That place, I'm not saying it can't develop, the place can develop, but it really takes a lot of time before that piece of land actually appreciate in terms of the pricing. But that guy is sitting in a situation whereby the government is offering a treasury bond that is actually giving you 17%. Over 17%, by the way, close to 18%. And then this guy, because you inherit this kind of a mentality back from your parents and your grandparents, like, hey, buying land is the ultimate thing and all those kind of things. You see, there is nothing wrong with you buying a land. But if you can buy a land and build some rentals there that can generate you income, amazing. But if you buy an asset that is just out there, quote unquote, sort of a dead capital, it's not generating nothing, then at that particular point, it's not really a wise decision to take. For example, if you have never known, let me share with you today, the average rate at which the land usually appreciates in Kenya is usually at around 7%. Okay, 7%. Let's say crazily up to 9% around there. So, and you're getting where you can be able to invest your money and get your whooping 17%. So, where would you put your money? Let me break this into perspective so that I make sense of it. Okay, if you take your 500 and buy a piece of land, and that land is appreciating, let's say even at 10%. So you're getting like an increment of like a 50,000 or something of sort within a year or something. That's why you find like after 2 years, the land is worth like 600,000. But if you were to invest that amount of money towards a treasury bill that is giving you that 17%, you're obviously going to make more money. That's for a fact. Okay, so the point is this. See, if you get money, don't rush into getting what we call the security and the comfort. Okay, because the security and comfort, all these two terms, actually what they do is they satisfy your emotions. These are the emotional satisfactions. The emotional satisfaction. That's what they satisfy. And let me tell you one secret. We usually say over 80% of the decisions that you make by your heart or based on your feelings are usually wrong. They are very wrong. Okay, so the decision that we usually make out of our thinking, the decision that we make out of our, hey, being logical, being like, okay, fine, I get myself $1 million, Bob. Now, what are the best options do I have on the table that I can be able to use with this money and be able to secure myself in future? You know why? See, people usually get money buying those things that I've actually named there, and then they go back to the same struggle. Have you ever seen somebody who really struggled as much as they can? They bought a piece of land, they built themselves a home, but they have never even done any plastering. They have never even done any payment. Even their windows does not even have some glasses, because the people were so desperate to just getting a home and staying there because that's what they were told. You see, getting a home is the best thing, is the ultimate thing, and that's it. And then you go back to the same hustling, whereby you do not even have a system. See, first of all, once you get money, view it as a tool to help you make more of it. It's like an extra hand, and I always love to give this example. It's like an extra hand that you have. Use it to make you more money. And then after you've invested, this is how it's supposed to go. This is the active income, okay? This is where you are employed, what have you, everything. This is where you trade your time, you trade your expertise and what have you, and then you are paid, okay? This is the payment. Now, at this particular section of payment, say you are paid like 100,000 or 10 or whatever amount of money, just use it, okay? What you're supposed to do, the next step should be, obviously after doing all your expenditures and what have you, should be about investment, okay? You invest. After the investment, this is where the money works for you. This is like an extra hand, okay? This is like an extra hand. So what happens, what you get here is the passive income. Probably it will be lower than what you usually get from the active way, but we usually try as much as we can so that we can up our passive income to meet or to be at level of what we call active income. Let's say here you usually manage to get like your 25,000 a month. Say you are getting 100 here, okay? Use your numbers, and then the next step that now you're supposed to do, now at this particular point, now get your security, okay, get your comfort and all those things that you're looking for. See, if you buy a car at this particular level, therefore, what does it mean? You not only have one source of income, but also you have another extra source of income. You see, you can actually rely to be fueling your car with this amount of money that you're getting from your investment or from your business. You can actually educate your kids using this amount of money. You can actually now think of getting what we call your home. Now you can decide to build your home at this particular point. Now, with this regard, because you've already actually decided to invest first before getting your home, this home now does not function as a what? As a liability. It functions like, I don't want to use the term asset, but more or less the same. But at this particular point, you've not built your home with the blood money. When I say your blood money, here I don't mean like bad money. What I mean is that money that you've actually traded your time, everything, you're the asset and what have you. When you have, and remember one thing, with this section, and I want you to accept to understand this. With this section, we usually see it is there is something called feasibility. Feasibility here means there is a maximum thing that, what am I trying to say? At this particular level, you as an individual, you actually confined by within the parameters of time to making this money. Let's say you're very young, you are at your 30s, you are at your 20s, late 20s, and you're getting this amount of money. Then it means you're at your prime time. You're actually making the maximum amount of income. By the time you hit 60, our rules and regulations in our country says you ought to be retired because they consider you not be productive at this amount of money. They can no longer pay you that 100,000 if you're at 60 because they believe, hey, if they were to give that 100,000 to a very young guy at 25, 26 or at 30, they'll be more productive. Therefore, it means your productivity as time goes, as much as your money or income is actually confined within the parameters of time, their productivity is actually going down. So what do? So we secure this productivity going down with us having investment in time. Okay, so by the time you clock this time whereby your productivity is regarded to be low, you already have created a thing that is not confined within the parameters of time. It is not confined. It is free. It is free of what? It's free of time. What do I mean? For example, if you did build your rentals, if you bought yourself some shares, if you got your money into money market fund, if you got your money into rates, therefore these parameters it's out of time, and you can be able to make this money even when you'll face off. When you'll die, still this investment will be making money for your children's children. And by the way, do you guys know even the Bible it actually restricts us from actually going ahead and building a home before you actually consider whether that field will sustain you? That's very true. Go check Proverbs 27, Proverbs 24:27. Check it out, and you'll be able to see what exactly I mean by this particular point. So you're supposed to first of all consider that field. That's what the Bible says. Consider that field will be productive for you. It can be able to feed you before you erect a home at that particular point. If you were to take that and contextualize in our real life situation or the current era that you're living, therefore it means that you ought to invest your money first. After investing, then be considerate and consider, hey, guess what? Even if a BS happens on this active area, therefore it means at least I can be able to sustain myself, at this particular investment that I've made, which it's actually not confined within the parameters of time. So if you understand this concept, don't rush into getting the comfort and the security. Consider rushing into getting an investment that is an extra hand out there that's gonna make you some cash. And by the way, when it comes to money, view like this: if you can be able to make 10,000, this is what I was telling a client of mine who we did meet. If you can be able to make 10,000 by yourself in a day, okay, and if you can scale down that business or an investment, employ some people, let them eat half of that you can be able to make, and then they make you another 6. So you have, or another 5. What do I mean? Like right now in the business that you are in, you're making 10,000, okay? Because you're working by yourself. So if you can be able to start another business somewhere and then decide out of the 10,000 you could be making, if you were to operate the 2 businesses by yourself, employ some other people out there and let the profit, you have the profit. You take half, they take half. Then you're not only making 10,000 but an extra 5,000. And then you keep on scaling down and franchise that business. That's how you make money. For example, if you take an example of this Total Energy, the Shells, the Rubies and what have you. I'm talking about these petrol stations. That's what we call them in Kenya, or fuel stations if you're watching this video from abroad or something of sort, okay? Now, what happens is this. They actually allow people to go buy their franchise and you can establish the business. They would rather have their profit but have multiple of places where they are selling fuel and you have an agreement of buying the fuel from them or something of sort, rather than just them operating the entire system of the business. See, there is a difference between being a business person and an entrepreneur. So you have to understand all these factors. It is good to let the money work for you rather than you struggling at all the time and working for the money. And by the way, I know you guys, after saying this, you might crucify me on the comment section, but I have to say it. Just look the way people usually operate in Gikomba compared to the way people are now operating in Isli. The amount of selfishness that is in Gikomba, it's actually up to and it's way up there. But compared to the guys in Isli, they have decided to join hands and open up a very big sort of a mall out there, and you get what? But we usually have these constant bannings in Gikomba and what have you, and all those. Anyway, I'm not getting into the political aspect, but the point is this: it's always good to make sure that you understand all these parameters, okay? Don't rush to getting security and comfort, but first of all, work towards actually securing your future, securing your investment, because that is the ultimate thing that you can ever do, so that at least you progress yourself to the next level in terms of the investments. Hey, guess what, guys? Anyway, don't forget, my number is always on the description of this specific video. Pick that number, give me a call or a text on WhatsApp. I offer these services at a personal level, obviously at a cup of coffee's price. And perhaps maybe it's your first time watching me, you're like, who are you? My name is Joseph. I talk about money, investment, and anything related to exactly that. So if you don't want to miss any of Peace of Mind videos that does this, doesn't cost you anything. Down below there is a small button written subscribe. It is in black. Hit that magical button, like the video, and comment down below. Tell me what you think. And if you're in a position too, you can share the video and also become a member of this channel so that you be excluded, or rather you get some sparks. All right. So for now, it's a goodbye and see you in the next one.